So we're live. Yeah, perfect. Hi, everyone. My name is Mike, and I'm leading NoCode Masters dot whatever community. The community around NoCode LowCode platforms. I'd like to share my knowledge, share my observations regarding different platforms. I'm working with NoCode LowCode for like a couple of years now, at least from since 2016, I believe. And you probably know that I'm extremely advanced. I'm an expert in Power Platform, which is the Microsoft local no-code platform. However, I'd like to extend my knowledge, extend my experience regarding usage of different platforms, as well as understanding their business model and how I'll be able to use it and how you will be able to use these platforms. So I'd like to aggregate people who are interested in using no-code local tools to building their profitability. Yes, as you can probably know, my English is not my first language, but who cares? Yes, my favorite cup is with me. It's from the Office, American The Office. Anyway, 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I showed how I was building solution for management of my trainings, internal application in my company using Power Apps. And today I'd like to build the very same application, but using Bubble. Bubble is a new platform. Sorry, it's a new platform to me, but actually it's on the market since I don't know how long. Actually, we can quickly verify it. How long is Bubble on the market? Wikipedia, since 2012. Wow. So it's over 10 years now. So pretty long. And for that old platform, I think I would expect the platform to be better. But let's not take my my words as it is, as a promise. Let's verify by yourself. I'll show you the platform just in a second. But before I'll do that, hi everyone. People are writing me in a chat. Nevertheless, I'll present you my screen, and I'll show you this screen. Where actually, this is my desktop, and that was the app I built like 2 weeks ago. And app is very simple. App is very simple. I can, review the list of all trainings in my company, see some dates, see some location, information about the trainer, the category of a training. Of course, there is no search and no filtering option, no sorting. It's very, very, very simple solution just to, get the basic glimpse of what the platform is capable of. I'm able to by changing the position, the selection, I can see its description, the maximum number of attendees. It's changing, as you can see, and whenever I click sign up, I'm navigated to another page that informed me that it was successful. I can return home and see my trainings, where actually I can see all the trainings I've signed up for. So let's build the very same application in Bubble. And first thing, this is the Bubble website. This is how it looks whenever you'll open it, and on the home page and log in, you'll see all your applications. Actually, you can see that I have only one application that I built yesterday. That's actually I think because actually I won't build that from scratch. I'll just show you something that I built yesterday. But the cool thing is that 2 days ago, I knew nothing about Bubble. And yesterday, I built my first application in a matter of, let's say, hour or two, or maybe 3 hours. But I was learning it from fundamentals. So whenever you will know any kind of programming concepts, or you use some platforms like Babel, like Power Apps, like alternative platforms that suddenly disappeared from my mind. But if you have any kind of experience, learning new platform will be much more easier. So let's open this application and I'll show you how it looks like. Actually, if you have anything to do with websites, probably it will already look a little bit similar, because immediately whenever you open new Bubble app, you will have your first site index, and that's the default web page that is open when on any website. You have 404 and also reset password website. So this is by default already in every new application. Then whenever I would like to add more pages to my application, I can add it just by adding new page. And what do I have here? So basically, what I like about Babel, I'll give you my impression, is that basically it's really focusing on B2C markets. So whenever you're building your own shop, or whenever you want to sell some solution, I mean, maybe you're building an SaaS application, or whenever you would like to build a startup, and you need to have some POC MVP, that of course will cost huge amount of cash and time for the regular developers to develop. Using Babel, you can do it like in a matter of hours, as you heard. First of all, basically Babel is more like a I would say marketplace with a builder, because whenever you create a new application, let me just quickly do that. A new app, and yeah, because I don't have paid subscription, so I have to use Babel domain. And of course, there are a lot of already made apps that are taken. The name was taken. So let's try this. New MG test. Perfect. Great. Oh, shoot. I was too fast. I wanted to explore Marketplace, which is super cool. I didn't see that in Power Apps. Actually, in Power Apps, of course, you have some basic fundamental templates you can use. Actually, I can quickly show you that as well. So check this out. So whenever I'll open Power Apps platform, here are templates. No, hold on, create. And here are some templates, but there are not many of them. It's like 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, more than 100, more than 100. Nevertheless, yeah, like you have couple simple templates, and that's all. All of these are free, although not every template is based on the same type of application, because in Power Apps you have 3 different types: a Canvas app, model-driven app, and portal app. I built Canvas apps 2 weeks ago. So in here you can see the type, and as you can see, for instance, here is a portal application, right? So probably you won't be able to use it whenever you would like to use a free license. Also, there is a model-driven app, but still you can check this out. And in Babel, skip this up. Okay, I'll quickly create the application just to show you what kind of templates it has. But what was very interesting to me is that basically, it's a marketplace, as I said. So there are like hundreds, and this time I mean it, like 124 times 9 templates. And we can, for instance, see the priced ones. but how can I just sort it? Hold on. Some templates, trainings. And there should be, oh yeah, for instance, there is a template, AI avatar generator for $149. And you can just buy this template for yourself. Yeah, it has some builder wizard to build. Yeah, dwarf knight, whatever. Okay, what is it about? I don't know. I just clicked it and I need to sign up. Okay, a lot of signing up. Not for me for now. Nevertheless, there are a lot of templates you can use to build your application to start off or based on something. I started my application from scratch. So whenever you create your own application, it will look like this. So nothing, Jon Snow. You know nothing. Just an empty screen. And everything you can do here will be your application, basically, because this is your canvas. And yeah, just as in Power Apps, you can put more visuals, controls to the screen. There are different controls. There are some repeating groups. This is what is an equivalent to gallery in Power Apps. And everything is laid in my elements tree, but actually I don't know why I cannot see that. I don't know why. I don't know why it doesn't appear to me. I'll type something, but nothing showed here. Why nothing is showing to me? Whatever. I don't know. So let's switch to the application I did. And here, you should be able to see my... Oh, yeah, maybe I didn't. Oh, yeah, exactly. See? I should uncheck this checkbox. So you can see here all the its. Let's switch back to the application. Each item has its own position on its own order based on the Z position in a Z layer. So like on top of or the bottom, what will overlay what control, right? And so here are also items inside repeating group. So like a gallery in Power Apps, you can define what will be displayed here in what position, what style, etc. The fun thing is that, as you can see, there are placeholders that actually are references to the information I'm picking from the data source. It's not like in Power Apps where actually it already displays me all information I need here and here. Like it's a preview. It's inside my builder, but still I'm able to see what the application can fetch from the data source. In Bubble, you cannot see that immediately. You have to click preview, and then it will display all the data in the live data from the data source, right? Funny, another very interesting and new thing to me is that it's not like every control has its own event. Like, so on select, do this or that. Like in Power Apps. In Power Apps, let me switch back again. Actually, we can maybe just do this side by side. I don't know if that will be a good idea. You tell me, write me in the chat. But here, let me, for instance, check this item. And here I have its property called on select. And I can see what is happening whenever I click on this item. So it's selecting its parents. Basically, it means the whole row. On the bottom, on the other hand, you have some patch operation that tells my data source that, hey, I'm going to create new data a new row in your content, in your data file, and then I navigate to another screen. In Bubble, you can't do that inside the control itself. Instead, you have a workflow section where you define all kind of logic operations defined for the specific page. So each page has its own events, or let's say workflows, as it is called right here. And for each of those, you can define what is happening whenever you do something. It doesn't have to be click. The cool thing is that, for instance, let me just create a new new event, and check this out. You can define what is happening whenever user log in or log out, or every 5 seconds, so kind of a timer. You can do a behavior, define behavior when element is clicked, or some custom event. And for instance, you can define now that for this event, whenever I don't know, this item isn't become not clickable. So like, it's much wider, broader options, more options to create logic for the application than in Power Apps, for instance. Of course, it's not means that you cannot do that in Power Apps, but here it's like, for me, it gives me, it creates better construction and hierarchy of what is defined where, because in Power Apps, whenever you have like huge applications and immediately some object disappears, some I don't know, button disappears, you should check at least a couple things, because first of all, it can be hidden under another item. It can be defined in onSelect. It can be defined by its variable setting, visible property setting, which can be also connected to the variable. So like, there are a couple different options. The another thing is that in Bubble, there is nothing like variable. I mean, you can create variables, but variables are assigned to a specific object instead, like to, general to the application context. In Power Apps, you have something like global context, where you can create a variable that is that can be visible from every screen. In Bubble, you have not such option. Okay, let's delete this, and let me see what I have here. So for instance, I told you about the variables. You can create variable that is attached to the specific element, so the visible control. And in Bubble, I can create assign a value of a selected item to repeating group trainings, which is a repeating group, right? This gallery control. So yeah, whenever a user load the page, it's basically, it means I select the first item of it. That's it. Then for clicking sign up button, I'm creating new record, and then navigate to another page. So like, yeah, the behaviors are pretty simple and similar to define as in Power Apps. Another thing that was totally different for me in Bubble is the plugins, plugin section. So like in Power Apps, you have connections that are responsible for all kind of integrations, and in Bubble, it's called plugins. But the funny thing is, plugins can refer to different items. One is integration layer, but another layer is, for instance, a controls. So like, I have a limited number of controls here, visual elements. If I want to have more, like for instance, I want to create a circle shape. Here I have only a rectangular shape, no circle. So how can I create it? I need to install more plugins, like Circle plugin, or rather a plugin that gives me a circle shape. And check this out. Some are free, but some are paid monthly or once, right? So as I said, it's a marketplace, basically. In Power Apps, you can build your apps. Once you have a license, you have access. You have only two types of license: standard and premium. That's it. Here, it really depends on the vendor. Some of you may say that, yeah, Michael, but actually, whenever you would like to use integration with external system, it may has its own payment gate that you will need to pay to get some API key or whatever. Yeah, that's absolutely true. So I agree that actually it's not that simple in Power Apps as well, but still, it's not very often you're integrating with other systems that are extra paid in Power Apps. And here it looks like every single thing you want to integrate, build or just have in your application, it need to be paid. You need to pay for it. But in my case, actually, for this simple application, I didn't need to use any extra integration besides the Airtable. For the Airtable, I just needed to create a plugin, add the plugin, and here I was able to just type Airtable, and it was free. I used this connector, and it requires me to add an account to Airtable, which is a data source for me. The interesting thing is that I don't have plugin for the SharePoint. So I wanted to use the SharePoint, the database, the list from the SharePoint that I used 2 weeks ago. But actually, I don't have such option. I couldn't do that. Actually, what I didn't do is I didn't try to use maybe Office 65. No. So that's interesting. So I'm not able to simply connect to Microsoft's environment. Maybe OneDrive. Okay, but it's OneDrive connector, but made by RITS 7. So yeah, I'm not able to connect to SharePoint. Interesting. So that's why I used Airtable. Let's quickly verify how I configured this Airtable tables. So Airtable is another service. It's like a simple database, like an Excel sheet, but more database friendly, especially when you have multiple, relations between different tables. And in Airtable, I was able simply to import data from Excel. I need to provide the Excel file, and it boom, immediately displays all the data. I was able to create new simple second table where I keep all the records that I wanted to create, to keep the information about the trainings I was signed up for. Whenever you will work with Airtable, have in mind that whenever you add the new table, it always appears with some simple columns and the 3 first rows, even though these are empty rows. You have always 3 first rows in place, even though it doesn't has any kind of information. And you have some example columns that once you don't need them, you need to remove them manually. But I don't think it's a big deal here. But yeah, I'm just saying that you have this, and of course you can delete this. Like actually, the rows may be confusing, because actually, I want to have table, and for instance, I create a new table and then immediately count the rows, and suddenly I will have 3 rows. Why? I don't know why. because this is the Airtable, whatever. Once you have these tables, you need to get your API key to be able to integrate it with Babel. And in Babel, you have simple wizard to define what kind of tables you want to. Actually, I can show it to you. Why not? Here, sorry. Confirm, expand. Yeah, you can see here my API key. Whatever, I'll delete it later on. I can define to which tables I want to connect. And the interesting thing is that for each of the connection, I can define what I be able to do with that table. So in this case, I'm only able to read the data, but for my trainings, I want to be able to read it, create, modify it, or delete it. Not very granular control. Actually, maybe if you have Reflex, you may saw this message, which says that actually API keys will be deprecated by the end of January 2024. So this method won't work after January of 2024. And you will need to use personal access tokens. And access tokens is much more professional approach because you define some token and you can define a scope. I'm not going to explain you about the scopes and access because it's not the time to learn about the tokens. But actually, it's very popular approach to manage the security model in applications and integrated with different platforms. But when it comes to integration and the permissions of the user, in Babel, you don't have by default such concept. I mean, you can do it, but it's not by default out of the box. Whenever you'd like to have some additional security, you'll need to define users, ask users to log in your application, and then you can assign additional roles to the create a specific option set and assign roles for the particular user. So like one user will be an admin, another will be a manager. And then for every control here, you will need to define when it's visible for the particular role or not. So in Power Apps, on the other hand, it's just out of the box. Whenever a user opens the application, it's required for him or her to provide credentials to log into the service. So if I'm only using Power Apps, my Microsoft account is enough. But if the app connects to the Google Calendar, I will need to additionally provide my credentials to Google Calendar, so it will know if I will have access and to what or not. So these are main differences, but I still see a lot of great scenarios where, for instance, using Power Apps may be insufficient, but Babel is great for. So like I mentioned that already, building your own store or some MVP for my cool startup about changing, having an impact on the world, changing it, whatever. Another thing that I observed is that whenever I'll add new button or application, like, yeah, this is the button, it already has some style, like in a Word file, right? Every Word has its own style. And to change its look, I'll need to define new style. I'm not able to, maybe just do some new styling that is just unique just for this button, which is good and bad at the same time, because it adds additional work for me to define different styles. But on the other hand, in Power Apps, for instance, you don't have such concepts. you don't have something called style. If you want to have style and assign every new control to look in the same way, you'll need to define some variables that you will connect then, or you can use this built-in styles, like for the application. Hold on. No, don't leave. Where was it? Oh, here. Yeah, theme. You need to create your own theme. And there are options to create your own theme, but it still require much more work to do rather than simply just change it, define it in the builder itself. So yeah, once you create such screen, put all the controls here in a particular order of particle type, blah blah blah. Then you can connect it to some data. And how you do how you put dynamically information inside your application, inside your controls. So every control has its how do you name it? Like a place where you can put controls, okay, functions, whatever, and you do that by using natural language alike. Of course, this is these selectors are predefined. Some of them are referring to controls, to the elements on the elements tree. Some of them are general, and just by selecting them, you can, for instance, for current users, email, I can do something, like maybe do some check or whatever, right? And I want to not delete that. Yeah. And the cool thing is, whatever I'll put here, I can copy that and paste in another controls, maybe to just duplicate the behavior. I'm very used to use functions like in Power FX, but I don't mind using such approach. It very reminds me of Microsoft InfoPath. I don't know if you're familiar with that. If not, you have nothing to be sorry for, nothing to worry. InfoPath is something that I hope I'll never see in my life again. Yeah, whatever. Rich text editor is inside as well. And this is the very cool thing. This is super cool. Look at this. I can define different styling for this dynamic data. Maybe put it in center, maybe change its font. And look at this. I hit save, and suddenly it creates tags, right? And now I can simply copy the whole formula with the tags and put it somewhere else. And it will immediately duplicate the behavior. It's not that simple in Power Apps, for instance, because in Power Apps, you don't have one place that will contains all the information about the control. It's spread around different properties. Property for the font size, property for the color of the font, property for the text value, blah, blah, blah. So there is no one place to simply, just copy everything and paste it there. So this is something I don't like in Power Apps. And if you're from the Power Apps product group, think about what I've just showed. Actually, I can show it to you. I can send you an email in my MVP as an MVP. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that because it's super useful, right? Yeah, what else we can do here? Oh, well, data layer. I told you how to integrate Babel with Airtable. Once you integrate it, once you click out through this wizard thing in the plugin section, you can just select your repeating group and hit that I want it to be integrated with Airtable. API provider, Airtable, Airtable, my trainings. It just fetch all the plugins that you're integrated with and the tables that are defined in the specific plugin. So for that matter, here I define that I have access to 2 tables. I can use both of them. Yeah, and then inside the control, like let's check this out. I can just say that, okay, for the current cells from the trainings list, I want to fetch its category name, category value. And I just do the same for the rest of the controls, and boom, that's it. Whenever I'd like to create a new record when I signed up, remember what I told you about the workflow? Yeah, here you can do that. You need to define the behavior. So once a button is being clicked, I need to do some step. And this will be creating new record in my trainings table, and I'm defining, I'm setting fields, right? I can add more of these, but of course I don't need, I have only 3 fields in my my trainings table of Airtable table, whatever. And here, for instance, I'm using, I'm going to the trainings list, because hold on, Michael, too fast. I keep the selection of an item in the repeating group trainings, this repeating group, right? I keep it in the property of this training group called selected item, right? And I just switch its selection once I click on another item. It's defined exactly here or here. Yeah, it's defined here. Whenever I click on the shape that is covering the whole row, I'm switching selection. I'm switching the value of select item to the current cells index. And based on this information, whenever I click sign up button, I'm going, check this out. I'm going to the whole list. So I'm using get data from an external API. I'm going to the list of trainings, get an item of a specific index, and then takes its name. The same with the data, with the date, and the same with the Airtable ID. I need this Airtable record ID to be able to later on maybe, I don't know, do some filtering or just, additional conditioning that you cannot add the same record twice, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, man. So simple as that. This application is not very complex. Actually, I showed you only one page. So here is a list. I can click sign up. And yeah, the page has been updated. Okay, let's update it. Oh yeah, the rectangle I added, whatever. Here I can see the success screen. I can click return home. And on my trainings, I can see the trainings I sign up for. Here is a back button, like very similar behavior. Let's switch to my trainings, where actually you can see what I'm doing, what I'm referring to. Let's give me, for instance, this value. Yeah, renaming of the controls is a good idea. Here. So for instance, I'm fetching information from trainings Airtable based on the item, based on the what? Current cells, my trainings name. Oh yeah, here is a value that I'm using to filter out. I'm using trainings. I'm using name to train it, to filter it out. Probably at the time I was building that for the first time, I didn't have already Airtable ID in place. So I use a name, but the effect is the same because every my training has unique name, right? Every training name has unique name. Yeah, that's it. App is superbly simple. I mean the Bubble app, the Bubble platform. I like it a lot because of the different approach to the building that uses templates. I mean the styles, like in Word styling, right? Whenever you're building something big, you better keep with stick to the styles. In Power Apps, well, it's not that easy, but in Bubble, it's like since the start, you already have to use styles, and this is something cool. You already see the preview display, so it has a lot of refreshing, and whenever I switch to another page, you see how long it's thinking. Maybe it's something that related to the debugger phase. Yeah, I hope it is, because it's not, the speed demon. Yeah. What else I can do? What else I can say about the Bubble is deployment, and because I used some API calls, I'll need to have a personal license to deploy it. But in Polish, we will call it an onion head. Yeah, I think so. So the onion is a reference to someone who is very don't like to spend cash. So yeah, I'm right now I'm just playing with this platform, so I don't like to spend any kind of cash, but whenever I'll use it for real implementation for some customer, of course I will pay for it beforehand, deploying it on the customer side. Yeah, so this is it. That was the Bubble platform. I hope I showed you something about it, and I told you you now understand it better. You can feel how it will behave. You can see what you can do here. Moreover, I hope that you will try it and verify for yourself if that is the platform that be the best for your scenario or your case. I don't know what you're about to. Maybe you're about to create your own startup, and you need a platform like this. Anything I would like to add? No, I don't think so. I didn't check the. I didn't check. Oh, StreamYard. Are there any comments? No, there are no comments now. Perfect. I mean, it's not perfect. So yeah, next time, please participate in my webinars. Remember to subscribe the channel and show some support, because it really motivates. I like to talk to others, not to just myself. Yeah, join our Discord group, Discord NoCode Champs, and that'll be it. Next week, I'll hope we'll have some more interview, because last week we had interview, and the next week I hope to have another interview with someone from the industry of NoCode LowCode. And for now, I thank you a lot for today, and I wish you a great day. See ya.